Assalamualaikum students, part 3rd of relative class. In the previous lecture we learned about what's the relative class, what's the relative pronoun, or we had a brief introduction of antecedent and all these things. In its part 2nd we learned about relative pronouns, 3 of them in fact, where we can use who, which, or that. Today we will learn the remaining 2, whose and whom. So the given direction says rewrite the following sentences using a relative pronoun. We have given 2 sentences here. We have to join them, we have to combine them, or we have to rewrite them by using a relative pronoun. The 2 sentences given here are: John is suffering from a deadly disease. His health is deteriorating day by day. So, in the previous lecture, we learned about this pronoun. In the previous video we discussed about it being a subjective pronoun, but here the story is a bit different. First of all, let us see what is his. His is basically a pronoun, but what kind of pronoun? His replaces John here, but his is not the actual form of John. If we elaborate it a bit, we will see. If we rub his, we will replace it by John. What happens? John is suffering from a deadly disease. John's health is deteriorating day by day. We are missing something here. Basically, it should have been John's. So, wherever we see noun plus this apostrophe s, this noun becomes, it shows us possession. It shows ownership. It shows custody. So this his is basically pronoun of John, but this pronoun is known as possessive pronoun. This is known as possessive pronoun. Possessive pronoun is a pronoun that shows belonging of a noun, that shows possession of a noun. His health means John's health. Okay. So wherever we see in the second sentence, if we see possessive pronoun, what we have to do, we have to replace who, which, or that. Wherever we wrote who, which, or that, basically who, which, or that are subject to pronouns. If it is a possessive pronoun, it will be the clause, the subordinate clause will be introduced by whose. So let us follow these 3 things. First of all, let us see an antecedent. What is the antecedent in between? His is basically the later form of John. So John is antecedent of his. We will write John, comma. Then, since possessive pronoun is used, so the relative clause or subordinate clause will be introduced by whose. John, whose. His has been mentioned in whose, so it will get deleted automatically. Whose health is deteriorating day by day, comma. John has been already mentioned, then this sentence will follow. Is suffering from a deadly disease. Okay, let's give one more example. I'll write here. The mayor the mayor calls for an emergency meeting. The mayor calls for an emergency meeting. His intention is to make a change in the his intention is to make a change in the procedures. Okay, let us follow the same procedure. The mayor and his is derived from the mayor, so mayor is its ancestor, or we can say antecedent. We will write the mayor, comma, since in the second sentence his is used, it will be replaced by whose intention is to make a change in the procedures, calls for an emergency meeting. Okay, we just have to see the pronoun here. If in the second sentence the pronoun is a possessive pronoun, if it is his, if it is hers, if it is its, if it is their, if it is our, these are all possessive pronouns. The possessive pronoun, or that sentence, that second sentence, which basically becomes a clause in the relative clause, it will be introduced by whose. Okay, let us talk about home now. Okay, coming to its last relative pronoun, that's home. Okay, let us see these two sentences first. John is suffering from a deadly disease. This is the same sentence I used in case of whose. In the second sentence I have changed it. I met him in the hospital. Let us find what is the pronoun used in the second sentence. Since John and I hasn't anything similar, it is basically John and him. What is him here? Him represents John here, no doubt, but it is neither a subjective pronoun or personal pronoun of John, nor a possessive pronoun. What's it then? I is subject here, met is verb here. I met somebody means John. I met him, this is subject, this is verb, him becomes its object. So if we examine it closely, the form that is used in the second sentence, the pronoun that's used in the second sentence instead of John is him. Him is basically here object, so him is the objective pronoun of John. I met John means I have worked upon John. So this finishes the action of I over John. So John becomes object. Wherever we see objective pronoun, we have to seek its antecedent, that is John, comma. Then if in the second sentence it is objective pronoun, we have to use whom, John whom I met, him will be deleted, in the hospital, comma, is suffering from a deadly disease. Okay, let us give one more example. I'll write Peter has a good Peter has a good sense of humor. Peter has a good sense of humor. People usually likes people usually like him. Okay. Peter has a good sense of humor. People usually like him. Peter and him. Him is what here? It is John. Sorry, Peter. Peter in the second sentence has become an object. So the objective pronoun is used here. We will write Peter is its antecedent. Peter whom people usually like. Peter whom people usually like has a good sense of humor. Okay. So what we have to do, we have to in case of this in case of objective pronouns in the second sentence, we have to use whom. In case of possessive pronouns, we will use whose, pp. Possessive pronouns. In case of subjective pronouns, we will use who is that, provided the antecedent is a human, we will write who. If it is a non-human, we will write which or that. Okay, that's the end of relative pronouns. We'll see you in the next video, inshallah. Till then, goodbye.